You're hopping from strategy to strategy, hoping eventually you'll find the right one, only to realize none of them actually work. I'll be straight up with you, they probably did work, but they were not simple enough, and the more complicated a strategy is, the more problems it introduces instead of solves. So today I'm going to be showing you my stupidly simple strategy, the one that made traders profitable after failing problem challenges for years. I'll break it down for you step by step, and I'll also show you my live trading examples that I personally took as well. And I also want you to leave a comment if you were able to make it till the end of this video. So let's get into it. You can come back to this part of the video when you're seeing the strategy fail when you're backtesting it, as most likely the reason it doesn't work for you is because the fundamentals of the strategy are not at the right place where they should be for you. The strategy works on oil markets, whether that's going to be forex, crypto, futures, metals, you name it. You want to set your time to UTC -4. That's going to be New York local time. So this way we're going to be on the same page. You want to see the charts at 8:30 New York local time and not before. Everything that happens before that is not something we consider a trading opportunity. It's all just noise at the end of the day. The time window where you're allowed to take a trade is going to be from 8:30 till 8 p.m. Now, and this is actually also by design, because I know a lot of traders are also working a regular job while pursuing financial freedom through trading. And if you only have a time window of about 1 to 2 hours, then guess what? The strategy is probably not going to be working for you if you only have a time window of about 1 to 2 hours, because at that time you're at your job working. Now here's going to be the part where most traders already skipped the video and they'll be wondering why the hell this didn't work out for them. At 8:30 New York local time, there's often news that are about to be announced. It's also what I like to call the news candle of the day. The candle is not significant to us. The reason why I tell you this now is because it's going to get very important in the fourth step of the strategy. Speaking of steps, there's going to be 4 steps, and each one of them is a puzzle piece that is essential for the other ones to work in harmony. So let's get into it. Our very first step is going to be identifying the higher time frame bias. I'm going to be explaining it to you very simple, and then later on it's going to get more complicated and also more realistic. So when identifying our higher time frame bias, we want to ask ourselves a very simple question: where is liquidity residing? Liquidity comes in many different forms. You can basically have a very easy guideline for where liquidity sits at. When you have 2 highs being very close to each other, you see the difference between that high and also that high is not by a lot. Whereas if we're going to be comparing it to that high, all of a sudden you can see the difference is quite large. So see, we don't have a lot of difference. Here we have a lot of difference. So this doesn't count. This is going to be a major point where a lot of traders are going to be putting their stop loss above and below these levels. Now the next thing is also that you want to see is imbalances. Imbalances also come in many different forms, but the most obvious and also easiest is going to be always an FEG. So when you're having these 2 variables combined, that already pretty much tells you the bias for the day. The price wants to firstly rebalance this entire FEG, and secondly it wants to stop out all of the different traders who put their stop losses above these levels. So there you go, now you already have the first step completed. And this is essentially the name of the whole strategy, which is the 15-minute range model. So after you have identified your high time frame bias, you want to look out for something very internally, and this is going to look something like that. So you remember we have marked out our high time frame bias just like so. We have the relative equal highs and we also have the FEG. Now you want to look out for something more recent. Okay, you want to zoom into the chart, and of course that has to happen on the 15-minute time frame if you didn't notice by now. Here you want to look out for a swing low that has recently happened and a swing high. That is going to identify your range low and also your range high. The reason why we do this is because now we are putting ourselves at a 50-50 scenario. Now it is quite obvious, okay, we only have the high that we want to go into and also the low. That puts us once again at a 50-50 scenario. Even if we're going to be closing our eyes and pressing on a buy or sell button, out of 50% of the times we're going to be right just doing that alone. So now that you have identified that, now you're going to be moving on to the next step, as this has been completed. And here we are already at our 3rd step. So after you're having your entire range identified, you also have your bias identified. Now you want to move on to the 1-minute time frame. And what do you want to see? You want to see a liquidity rate. So in our example, we are trying to trade onto the upside because remember our bias is bullish because of all of these highs and also the FEG in here. That is why we need to see a liquidity rate that has happened at a low. So in this entire price action, we need to trade lower, take out that low, and now your liquidity rate has been confirmed and you can check mark this entire step. So it has just to be a low that of course has to happen past 8:30 New York local time. That's all it really is for this step. It's probably the easiest step also. And then you can also mark this out as your LR. Simple as that. Now I want you to pay attention for the fourth step, as it's going to be the hardest, but you can already see how the puzzle pieces are just going to get together and then forming an entire story. Now, and here we are at step 4. You can already see that this is marked out in red because this is where most traders are just going to fail, as it's maybe or maybe not the easiest to identify, but I'm going to make it as quickly and as simple as possible for you. So you have all of your range. You want to trade lower, of course. Now you want to identify, you're just going to be staying on the 1 minute time frame as before, and you want to see a candle that is significantly trading onto the upside. So I just say as an example, because this is where most traders fail, I've gotten a lot of comments from you guys. When you're seeing, let's just say you want to trade onto the upside, you're seeing this is going to be a bullish candle, then you have another bullish candle, and then you have another bullish candle. And now you're going to be saying, well, this is going to be my movement candle because it's bigger than the previous ones. Yes, it might be bigger, but it's not significantly bigger. In order for me to say, okay, we have a movement candle onto the upside, I need a candle that is going to look something like this. That is going to be my movement candle. You see? There's no question whether or not this candle is bigger than this and also this one. That is going to be what I like to call my movement candle, and now it is going to be my entry to now trade onto the upside. So the same principle applies in here. After we have done all of these different things, with the range high, with the range low, now I want to see a strong candle. So just imagine that all of these candles, this is our price action move, is going to be multiple different smaller candles, but imagine that this price action move is going to be one massive candle. Now you can take your long onto the upside and you want to target either the FEG or something else, maybe some kind of FI. These are the details that I'm going to show you now. So there we go. This is going to be a trading example for you. This trade I have taken on my 200k phase 1 account. And speaking of that, you'll like this. Have you recently failed a platform challenge, but you know that you could keep the funded account and also get payouts if you just didn't have to go through the challenge phase? Well, you're not alone, because a lot of traders know how to keep funded accounts and also get payouts, but they're not able to pass the platform challenge. And that can have a lot of different reasons. Maybe it's going to be time, maybe it's going to be the rules of the platform challenge stressing you, but here's where I can help you. I'm going to pass your platform challenge in only 3 trading days, guaranteed. And if I'm not going to be able to succeed, you'll get all of your money back, including the fee that you paid the platform in order to get the challenge. For more info, the link to that is in the description down below. The first thing that I do before you even start trading is I'm having my trading plan open with my personal journal. Link to that in the description if you're interested. So in here, we're basically going to be check marking all of the different things until we have them check marked, and then we're going to be taking a trade. Simple as that, guys. So I was trading this daily candle right in here. Now, the first thing that I can already tell you is that we have taken out the previous day high, but not the previous day low. So the candle in this moment in time was looking something like this. We had the body, we had the wick, and the wick onto the downside was still like that. So then I was asking myself, okay, we have already taken out the previous day high. It is quite unlikely that we're going to go for the previous day low, usually, because oftentimes what the price action likes to do is it likes to go for either the previous day high, which is going to be here, or the previous day low. Sometimes though, it is going to take out the previous day high and also the previous day low, but this is more of a rare scenario. But I bet on that scenario, and I can tell you why. Because if you're going to pay attention, we're having a massive FEG on the daily time frame. So that is already a confirmation point. There is liquidity residing lower. We just need a little bit of movement there. Now also, one thing that you can see is we're coming from a heavily bullish candle. So a lot of you guys would now expect this price action to just continue onto the upside. But that, my friend, what is it? That is going to be FOMO. That is going to be you chasing the price. Every single price action move, whether that's going to be onto the up or downside, is going to always have a pullback phase. Same goes for the downside. You're also always going to be having a pullback higher again when you're trading lower. So that's the same that we have in here. I betted on the market going for the previous day low in that entire day, and that was pretty much already the higher time frame bias. Now we're going to be check marking that. Then I've gone on to the 15-minute time frame, and here I want to ask myself the same questions as before. So you want to go to 8:30, which is right in here, and here it was a little bit of a more tricky situation. Now pay attention, because the 50-minute range in the simple example that I've shown you very early on in this video, it was quite easy to understand. Here in the real price action, we all know it's going to be a little bit harder, so pay attention once again. When you're looking at this entire price action, what I can see without zooming too much out of the chart, I can see that we came from consolidation here, traded lower, traded higher again, and now we are trading lower again. So remember, we were in this moment in time. So then I was asking myself, okay, this is going to be the low, this is going to be the high. Now, ideally, you always want that the current price is going to be 50% between the range high and range low. That's going to be your measuring point. It doesn't have to be exactly at the 50%, but it has to be somewhere around that area. As you can see, it is somewhere around that area, as this is going to be the candle that has been created at that moment in time, and that is already going to be enough for us. So now we have identified our 50-minute range high and also our 50-minute range low. From this point on, we are going to be moving on to the next step of this entire strategy, which is going to be, we need to find a liquidity rate on the 1 minute time frame. The way you're going to do that is obvious. Since we have identified all of that, we are going to go onto the 1 minute time frame. So the 50-minute range has been checkmarked. So since 8:30, this is all of the different candles. We have taken out these highs. This is going to be our liquidity rate. Remember, we want to trade onto the downside, not to the upside. So we need to see a liquidity rate that has happened above a high, not a low. Okay, from this point on, we have also our liquidity rate on the 1 minute time frame. Yeah, as you can see, I'm on the 1 minute. Now we want to move on to our very most important step, and it's also going to be the most difficult step. I'm going to have a bonus example later in this video as well for you. Here we want to ask ourselves, okay, do we have a candle that is significantly trading onto the downside compared to the other ones? You see, you only have to measure it from this moment in time. Everything that has happened here doesn't really matter, okay? We've already done our entire analysis beforehand, so it doesn't really matter, okay? Now we want to have our movement candle, and to a lot of you, this one is going to be your movement candle already. When you're in the live price action, you're going to be saying we have moved a significant amount of lower. This must be the movement candle. But no, compared to this candle, is it really that much bigger? Not really. Compared to this candle, is it really that much bigger? Also, not really. So this is why you have to wait, okay? This is the most patient step that you're going to be having in the strategy. You're just going to be waiting for that one candle that has significantly traded onto the downside. So you see, no movement candle, no movement candle, no movement candle, no movement candle. What do we have in here? That is going to be our movement candle. The reason for that is a movement candle is only going to be a determined factor of the recent price action. Now, what do I mean by that to begin with? You have to compare your movement candle to the price action that has happened before that. So let's just say I'm having a candle like this one. It is a really big candle, isn't it? Now, but then I'm also going to be having another candle that is looking like that. All of a sudden, that candle that I've initially drawn out is not so big anymore, because now we have something to compare it with, which is going to be the very second candle that I've drawn out. So you see, a movement candle has to be compared with what has happened recently. Okay, and as you can see, it is much bigger than everything that has happened recently in here. Now we want to take our short onto the downside. So we're going to be placing our position right after the movement candle has formed, which is going to be right in here. So it's going to be the candle closure of the movement candle. Our stop loss is going to reside either at the last liquidity rate. So imagine this high would have been ran one more time in here. Then this will be our SL. Okay. Since this hasn't happened, we're just going to be basing it off from the previous swing high, which is that candle. Now we're going to be aiming for, or we have a lot of different options what we're going to be aiming. First of all, we can aim for the entire FVG, but that is going to be more of an extreme example. I rather like to look out for something internally, because yes, although this happens and with the right bias, this can also work, which I'm going to be showing you in future videos as well. But for now, really just keep it simple and go for something internally. So in this entire trade, I have personally just kept it very simple. I've gone for 1 for 2, a little bit more than that, and gone for internal structures such as this low. And especially because on my prop firm, I was only aiming to make like 4% on the face, because 8% is my target, and that was just enough for me in that case. And from this point on, you're just going to be taking the trade and let it run onto the downside. As you can see, this has hit a take profit. We also had some consolidation phases. This is going to be one of those times where you're going to get a break-even trade. Now, let me tell you how you're going to be avoiding this. Your break-even is only going to be determined by a significant low in that case. You see, when we have created all of this entire price action, okay, so just imagine we're in this moment in time, everything that has happened to the right doesn't exist yet. When we're trading this, you see that we're creating all of these swing highs. That is going to be what? The same that I've explained to you previously with the relative equal highs, when you're having two swing highs being relatively equal, close to each other. So that means what? there's going to be liquidity residing higher above these levels. Same goes for here, okay? Just because it's the 1 minute time frame, it doesn't change much. So we have this 1 minute time frame, and we wanted to trade higher, take out that liquidity. That's why I'm not putting my stop loss at break even yet, because I know there's a good chance we're going to be trading higher. Especially because we also have on the 1 minute time frame this entire FEG, which is further going to be protecting our position if in case the price action gets even higher there. Now, and for the guys that are wondering, I have really taken this trade. If we're going to be going into our history, there you go. This is going to be the entire position. I have really taken that trade. That's how you want to trade the strategy, systematically, with a plan, and with no second guesses. Now here I want to show you an example where most traders don't understand what a movement candle really looks like. And they're going to be frustrated because when they're going to be trading this, let's just say onto the downside, they're going to be wondering, why didn't this work out? Why did the price run one more time higher and I got stopped out because of that? Well, here's the reason for it. So when you're looking at this entire price action, and let's imagine all of the different conditions are already met. You have your higher time frame bias confirmed, you have your 50-minute range confirmed, and also the liquidity rate. So you want to ask yourself, okay, where is going to be my movement candle now? That is the most logical step, as this is going to be our fourth step. We have a candle like this one, okay? Pay attention. And then we have multiple other candles following up on that. So you have to ask yourself, okay, imagine that you're starting your day right here. This is going to be 8:30 in our example right now. You see, we have a candle like that one. It is significantly bigger than all of the previous candles in here, but it is before 8:30, so it doesn't really count. But what it counts to is going to be our comparison. So when we're having this candle, we're going to be comparing it to the biggest candle that is recently in the price action. Is it bigger? No. Compare it to this one. Is it bigger than this one? No. Is it bigger than this one? Maybe, maybe not, but not significantly bigger. So that's why we're also not going to be counting it. And then you just keep on doing this for every single bearish candle that is going to be appearing in a price action when you want to trade a lower, of course. The vice versa for the opposite direction. So you're going to be having another candle like this one. Is it going to be bigger than this candle, for example, our biggest candle in here? Not really. But then all of a sudden you're going to be having a candle like that one. Now it's no question. Let's compare these two candles. So we have this candle, we also have that candle. Is it going to be bigger? Yes, this one is definitely bigger. So this is going to be our movement candle. Now we're going to be comparing it to, let's just say, the previous candle that was our measurement. This one, is it bigger? Yes, this one is of course bigger. It's going to be bigger than this one. Yes, it's also going to be bigger. So this is how you're going to be measuring it off from, okay? You can take a screenshot of this entire thing if you want to, and this would be your movement candle. Now you want to place your stop at the candle closure of that. You can also take a more conservative entry. As you can see, we have an BPR in here. That is just going to be two FVGs overlapping with each other. And now you can also take that trade onto the downside. You want to aim for something internally ideally, or just go for a quick 1 for 2. This is all just on the 1 minute time frame, remember? So you will be in the trade for not even an hour. So that is a pretty good strategy if you ask me. So there you go. Now you have a strategy that actually works and is based off data. But chances are you already had a profitable trading strategy, but you are not able to execute it correctly. That can have a lot of different reasons. But if you want to speed up your trading, then I also do one-on-one coaching. I'm going to sit down with you, and if it takes, I'm also going to be sitting down with you every single day and explain to you exactly what trades I'm taking. I'll be reviewing your trades, I'll be trading with you live, and I'm also going to be giving you psychological guidance, so you're not going to be failing, not because of a unproven strategy, but you're failing because the mind is really just what it takes in order to be profitable, if I'm being honest with you. But without further ado, there's going to be a video right now on the screen that you can click on. This one is going to show you how I've backtested 1,000 trades with this exact strategy. And this is also the reason why I'm so confident in it, because it has been based off data and not guesses. So make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on this video right now. It is going to explain to you everything.